students, welcome to my class. Hello, welcome to my class once again. And today, since we are opening the new chapters, and the title of the chapter is water. And under this title, you will be hearing about the water and water cycle. Of course, we are coming to know. And then again, we will be coming to know about the fresh and saline water. Then here distribution of water bodies, then temperature of the ocean water and circulation of ocean waters. So these are the few basic points related with these chapters, and we will come to know about the whole details about the water. As from the beginning you have been already come to know about the water and how this water body actually works in different ways, and then what sort of like a movement it is creating. So today in this chapter you will be coming to know. Now see, why do we call our earth is a blue planet? So the purpose or the reason behind calling this planet as blue, because from the space from the above when you go, you will be able to see only the blue color in the ocean, and you know it is the reflection from the sky which is a blue in fact. And then we know the blue color is in fact actually very clear, very vivid in the sky. So that's why the water is actually reflecting this blue color, and that's why we call it like a blue planet. Now as per the water when we talk about, so let us know about the water cycle. Now as you have already found that different areas, the water how it actually changes its forms, so that about that one we need to know. Now for example, water has got three forms, like a water, liquid and a solid. So here, you know, whatever the water areas, suppose the sunlight and maybe the heat is created, then certainly the water is actually evaporating there, and then this particular evaporation actually takes or the rather it rises up, and then you know, in this our troposphere, you can see that the cloud in fact is formed, and after forming the clouds by this smoke or the water vapor in fact creating the a kind of like a tiny particles, and these particular tiny particles are actually ultimately is gathering, and then due to the particles, dust particles, these are the droplets are actually forming the raindrops, and then it is coming down or coming back to the earth, which is known as the precipitation. So this is the water cycle how actually takes place. It may say without the water cycle perhaps we will not have the water in our region, in our country. So therefore this is one of the major role is played by and then in fact this is one of the areas where the water actually creating the a lot of people to survive, a lot of animals and species to survive on. Okay, so okay, this is about the precipitation and the water cycle that is actually taking place. Next we have the fresh and saline water. You see, saline water and fresh water, when we talk about, you must remember that the water especially found a large volume, especially in the ocean, seas and rivers and lakes, ice caps, glaciers, etc. So this water body in fact we can find two ways, that is one way is a fresh, and then second one is a saline. And now fresh water actually contains very little dissolved salts, and although actually almost like a 3/4 of the earth is actually covered with the water, and only like a 3% of this water is a fresh. Now out of this 3%, you know, 2% that we are finding, that is actually found in the form of ice caps and the glaciers, and as a result of we are left only 1% of the fresh water for our use. Now fresh water is available to us in the form of like a surface water, like a rivers, lakes, as a groundwater and a water vapor in the atmosphere. Okay, so this one you have to come to know. Next we have the about the saline water. Now how does the saline water in fact actually takes place? Now oceans contains actually 97%, okay, 97% of the ocean water contains in the surface of the earth, and but this water actually saline. Why it is saline? Ocean water is salty, and it is therefore not fit for drinking. That is we have to we need to know, it is not fit for. And then approximately, you know, like every 1000 gram of the ocean water contains actually 35 gram of like a dissolved salts. So therefore ocean water actually ocean water actually is salty and is therefore not fit for drinking. And this particular water in fact is mostly sodium chloride actually found in this diluted form. Okay, then let us know about the rate of evaporation, how this actually evaporation or the water actually found. So see, rate of evaporation, the higher the rate of the evaporation, the greater is the salinity. And based on this, the tropical regions of like a high salinity, while polar regions have the low salinity. It means where there is a hot region, you can see that a more salinity, more salty is created, and then where there is a like a cold, then a less salt is created. So that is actually fine. And let us know about also amounts of like a fresh water that is actually added to the oceans. Now the equatorial regions experience a heavy rainfall throughout the year, and rivers like the Amazon and Congo add lots of like fresh water into the oceans, and this actually dilutes much of this saltiness. Therefore, the water which the ocean in these regions are actually less saline. You must remember the big volume of water in fact is coming out from the this Congo and Amazon. It's a big river. Then you can understand enclosed seas even. So seas which are actually partly or completely enclosed, for example the Dead Sea, have a high salinity. Then this is because the water of the this seas does not mix freely with the ocean water, and in open seas currents flow freely, resulting in a low salinity. Okay, so distribution of water bodies. The northern hemisphere has a majority of land masses, while the southern hemisphere has more of water content. Thus, the southern hemisphere is also called the water hemisphere, and the large mass of water has been actually divided into oceans, seas, bays, and gulfs. So there are how many water bodies that we have got? Namely, Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Arctic Ocean, and a Southern Ocean. So these are the big oceans which is containing the large volume of water. Let us know about the temperature of ocean water. Now, the temperature of ocean water actually not the same everywhere. So it varies from place to place and from time to time. And ocean water actually receives energy from the sun, and it is the hottest near the equator and the coldest near the poles. Another factor which actually affects the temperature of the ocean water is ocean currents, and the warm currents raises the temperature, whereas the cold currents lower the temperature. Okay, so this is we are able to find. Next we have got like a circulation of ocean water, how this ocean water actually circulates. Now the water of the ocean actually always in the motion, there is a vertically and a horizontally, and the movement of the water takes place especially in three ways, that is waves, tides, and ocean currents. Okay, so let us know about the waves, how this waves actually creating. Now waves are actually the oscillatory movement and in water, and they are actually caused by the alternate rise and a fall of the surface water, and the horizontal movement of the wind over the surface of the water in the oceans and seas results in the formation of waves. Then particles of water are actually pushed down by the wind and they come up again, and this up and down movement actually is passed from one particle to another, and this appears as a like a wave, and the wave travels in the direction of the wind, and the actual forward movement of the water particles in a wave is limited. Therefore waves travel great distances, but the water particles remains at the same place. So this is the how the wave is actually creating. Next we need to know about the wave is made up of crest and a trough, that is we have to know it. Okay, you read about this one. Next we have got another topic is called like a tsunami. Now the particular word is tsunami actually derived from the Japanese word, Japanese language, so originally from Japanese. And so this su means, you can see that there is a that means like a harbor, and nami means wave. Okay, so tsunamis are actually huge oceans waves. Those things are actually created, or those things are actually causing earthquake, tsunamis usually occurs due to the earthquake or maybe volcanic eruptions and also landslide. So both on land and underwater. So you have the seen video clips of the in Japan uh, quite long years back. There was a tsunami occurred, and then a large number of property was actually destroyed. And this ocean, when there is a movement in the ocean, in fact, earthquake or volcanic eruption or maybe the landslide, actually what happens, the lower part of the area in fact is really blown by the water from the above side, and then that's why the velocity of the water becomes very faster at that time. So anyway, you have seen some incidents on that. Next, let us know about the tides. Okay, here sea water actually generally rises and falls twice a day, almost at a regular intervals. So this periodic rise and fall of sea water or ocean water is called tide, and it is high tide when the level of water rises and a low tide when the level of water falls. Okay, so this is about the tide. In the image given, page number 154, you can check it up and you can learn more. So this tide is occurring why, or what reason is there that this tide is supposed to occurring? Okay, now the gravitational pull of the moon and the sun on the surface of the earth causes tides, and even though the moon is actually smaller than the sun, it exerts a much larger pull on the earth. So this is because its distance from the earth is less than the distance of the sun from the earth. So that is we have to understand. So tides do not rise to the same height every day, like the relative position of the moon and the sun with respect to the earth responsible for the height of the tides. And there are two extreme positions on full moon and a new moon. So the sun, moon and the earth are in one straight line, and the sun and the moon exerts a combined gravitational pull on the earth. So therefore on these 2 days tides are actually highest, and the phenomenon is known as the spring tide. So you should know that. Then when the tide is actually less, which is known as the neap tide, on a half moon day, the sun and the moon make a right angle with the earth, and under these circumstances the gravitational pull of the sun and the earth cancel out each other, and this results in a low rise of water and is known as the neap tide. Okay, so you can understand about these things and all. So I just would like to ask you to read through more about it, so that you will be reading about it. You read about the ocean currents. Let us know about the importance of tides, why it is a importance, or why it is required actually, why need to have. So importance of the first importance is during high tide, the water level near the coast rises, and this allows big ships to enter and leave the harbor. And the ports of Kandala in Gujarat and Diamond Harbour in the West Bengal are actually dependent on a tidal conditions. Okay. Second importance we have to understand that during high tide, fishes come near the coast, and this helps fishermen to catch a good amount of fish. And when rivers flow into the sea, they carry with them large deposits of silt, and which they deposit at the mouth of the river. And the tides wash away the deposits and prevent situation of harbors. And energy of the tides can be used to generate electricity, and tidal power stations have been set up in the countries like Canada, Japan, France and the UK. So this is very important to know for us. Okay, so let us know that why these effects of ocean currents are actually important. Okay, now first effects that we have to know that warm ocean currents increase the temperature of the coastal regions along which they flow, and cold ocean currents decreases the temperature of the coastal regions. Then again, second point we have to remember that winds blowing over warm currents are actually moisture bearing and bring rainfall to the coastal areas, whereas wind blowing over cold currents and dry winds, deserts are actually generally found along the western side of the continents along which a cold current flow. And the Gulf Stream is a warm current, and the Labrador current is a cold current. Whenever a warm and a cold current meet, dense fog is produced, and the fog reduces visibility and can be the cause of the accidents. So that is another ocean currents effect is in places where warm and cold currents meet, tiny organisms called like planktons. You have seen planktons, which is shining very much in the evening time. These planktons are actually source of like a food for the fishes, and then hence such areas are actually good for fishing. Then ocean currents also facilitate navigation, and a ship sailing along the current will move faster, thus saving time, and also fuel warm current melt icebergs, thus helping ships to sail smoothly. Okay, so this is we need to remember about this topic. Now, whatever the left out topics are there, which I have left for you to study. So you just check it up, and you get the proper information from here. So this is all about the water, in fact. So, and the previous chapters in class 6 or class 5, whatever the chapters you came across, those chapters are in fact less information was actually containing, and today what you have been read about it, whatever you heard about it, you get the more information about it. So anyway, you have to really see it how it is going on. Alright, so in my next class I will talk about the political part. In fact, we can begin, and this particular political part I will be talking in my next class. So today I will be sending you some of the question answers, so you read and make sure to get it properly. Okay, all of you. Okay, thank you, and I have a great day ahead.